Hi guys, Z here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're seeing my beautiful face for the first time, welcome. My name is Z and I create content surrounding health, lifestyle and vlogs. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my YouTube channel, okay? So guys, in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about something very important that I think you should know, okay? So just like COVID, I remember when COVID came out in 2019, a lot of people were talking about it, but we never took it serious until it became a pandemic. In Nigeria, there has been a recent outbreak of a disease and it is fast spreading, okay? So I'm here to talk to you about that disease, what you should know about it, what causes it, how to prevent it, just so that we don't fall victims just like the last time, okay? If that sounds like something you'd like to see, stay to the very end of this video. Welcome back, guys. So what is that disease that has been spreading around Nigeria at this moment? It's known as diphtheria, okay? So diphtheria disease bacteria is the recent outbreak that has been going around. As at today, we've had 123 confirmed cases of diphtheria in Nigeria and 54 deaths as a result of this diphtheria in Nigeria. If that doesn't sound like something that we should be more careful about, then I don't know what should sound serious, okay? So the first states where this bacteria has been confirmed in Nigeria are Lagos, Kano, Osun State, and Yobe. Those are the 4 states currently where this bacteria is. We shouldn't wait till it comes to the states near us before we start taking precautions, and that's why I'm making this video for you and me to take these precautions so that it wouldn't come as far as spreading around the nation just like COVID did, okay? So now, what causes this bacteria? Diphtheria is caused by a bacteria known as Corynebacterium diphtheria. As nice as it sounds, it is very deadly, okay? So now the next thing I want you to know about this bacteria is the signs and symptoms. Reason I'm telling you this is so that you watch out for these signs and symptoms in people close to you, okay? Now this doesn't mean that when you have any of these signs and symptoms you have diphtheria. It doesn't mean that, okay? Because most of these signs and symptoms are similar to the signs and symptoms that people have normally. And now the onset of these signs and symptoms is between 2 to 10 days of exposure to this bacteria. You can see that it's even faster than COVID was. So I'm going to make a list of these signs and symptoms. Signs and symptoms of diphtheria include headache, fever, chills. Some people bleed from their nose. Some people have sore throats. Some people have coughing. Now, and people do not have all of this in entirety. You might find someone that does, but these little signs and symptoms are just going to point your direction towards proper investigations to be sure that it is not this condition that the person is suffering from, okay? So another symptom is red eyes. Yeah, some people come down with red eyes. Now, one of the major symptoms that people look out for is if you open the person's mouth where the tonsils are, you see white patches, like more like grayish white. I'm going to insert a picture here or here so that you can see what I'm talking about, okay? So down the person where the tonsils are, you see patches of white, like clumps, or I don't know how well to describe it, but you see the picture and then you understand what I'm saying. So those are like the major signs and symptoms that you would see, okay? Let's talk about how this bacteria spreads from one person to another. Just like COVID, remember that COVID was spread by droplets, okay? And then it's airborne and all that. So diphtheria is spread by contact with infected persons, and it's spread by droplets in the air when people cough, like people that are infected. Basically, mostly the same way COVID was spread, okay? So by touching infected objects and by being in contact with people that are infected, and yeah, air, coughing, sneezing, those are the ways that these bacteria are being spread. This bacteria is being spread rather, okay? So now, people that are at risk for this bacteria, number one is children or people that were not vaccinated at a young age. Like there are sometimes they're supposed to take a vaccine against this bacteria. So those that have not taken any form of this vaccine at all from when they were born, they are mostly at the high risk of getting these vaccines. Now, the second set of people that are very much at risk to get this bacteria are those that are living in overcrowded places, like places where there's so many people living. And that one is even, Aside even this diphtheria, living in places that are overcrowded exposes people to a lot more other kinds of infection, both viral and bacterial. Okay, so those are the people that are most susceptible to or at risk to this infection, this bacterial infection. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about complications of this bacteria, just so that we know that it is not a joke. Okay, it is not a joke at all. Now, this bacteria, once it's inside the body, okay, it releases some toxins that goes as far as damaging nerves in the brain. Okay, and you can imagine nerves in the brain being damaged, the extent of the damage it can cause. But like I said, these are complications. It's not with everybody that has it. Okay, so one of the complications is the toxins that this bacteria releases into the body can go as far as damaging nerves in the brain, can cause heart damage or heart infections. It can also cause muscle paralysis. Okay, and muscle paralysis, difficulty breathing. People do not take difficulty breathing as a very important complication, but it is a complication because you can imagine struggling to breathe and you have to be on oxygen and all of that. Okay, so difficulty breathing, muscle paralysis, heart problems, heart infections, heart damage, and nerve damage in the brain. Okay, and then the utmost complication is death. Okay, it can lead to death. Like I stated, in Nigeria already 54 deaths have been recorded already. It might sound like this thing is just 54 might not sound like a lot to you, but this was exactly how COVID started. We started with 1 death to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to the millions of people that died from COVID. Okay, so we have to take precautions. Now I'm going to go straight ahead and talk to you about how we can prevent this bacteria. The major ways to prevent this bacteria is ensuring appropriate vaccination. Like I said, diphtheria, there's a vaccine for diphtheria that is given to babies at 6 weeks of birth, 10 weeks of birth, and 14 weeks of birth. Okay, so 6 weeks, 10 weeks. So if you're a mother and you have a child, or you have a niece or nephew and you are not sure if they have been vaccinated, or you figure that the parents are not being serious about vaccinating the child, please talk to them to go ahead and vaccinate this child. Most of us, our mothers took us for appropriate vaccination and were vaccinated. Okay, normally in Nigeria, vaccination for children is free, so you should not, if it's not something up for debate. It's not something to say, oh, because of the poverty rate in Nigeria, people are unable to vaccinate their children. Take them to health centers around you, government establishments, government hospitals, and they'll be vaccinated. Okay, so now in case you're a mother that has taken your child for this vaccine, for immunization, and you are not sure if this child has had any of this vaccine because the name does not sound familiar. Now, pentavalent is the vaccine that contains diphtheria. So pentavalent, just like the name indicates, penta, it contains 5 different vaccines. Like it protects your child against 5 different vaccines. Diphtheria is one of them. Okay, so we have diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, and Haemophilus influenza. Okay, so those are the 5 diseases that pentavalent prevents your baby from. Yeah. So if you have given your baby penta 1, which is given at 6 weeks, penta 2, which is given 4 weeks after, that's at 10 weeks, and penta 3, which is given at 14 weeks, then your baby is covered for this vaccine. But WHO has now said that there should be a booster of this vaccine given to kids starting from between the ages of 3 to 4 years for the next, because like WHO is suggesting 3 booster doses for these children. Personally, I have not seen kids take the booster now, but now that there's a recent outbreak, I'm pretty sure that in vaccination centers they would be given. So if you are a mother and you have a child between the ages of 3 to 4 and has not collected the booster, even if you completed the 3 doses of your pentavalent when the baby was still a toddler, you should ask. Just go to your immunization and ask if they now give the booster doses. So the booster, like I said, that we have 3 doses of the booster. The first one is usually between 3 to 4 years of age. We can also say 2 to 4, but yeah, 3 to 4 years of age. And then the next booster dose should be 4 years after. Like there should be 4 years interval of your booster doses. So from 3 to 4, the next dose should be about when the child is about 7 years old, 7 to 8 or thereabout. And then the next one should be when the child is about, say, 13, 15, 12, 15. thereabouts. So that's when the booster doses are given. But be rest assured, for most children that have been properly vaccinated, the 3 vaccines when they were toddlers, they are mostly like the immune system is mostly covered, okay, from this bacteria. But just as we grow old, the immunity drops, and that's the reason for the booster, like so that would increase the potency of our body's immunity against this bacteria, especially now that there is a recent outbreak. Most of the people that are affected are children, and then if you figure most of them were not vaccinated, from the little research they've done for these 123 cases, a good number of them were not vaccinated as children. Okay, so now, aside vaccination, what other ways for those of us that are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, but maybe your immune system is compromised and you are scared that this bacteria can still get to you? Now, just like COVID, wash your hands as often as you can, sanitize your hands as often as you can. Because if you remember when I said how this bacteria can be spread, one of the major ways is touching objects that are objects that has been infected. Say an infected person coughs in this environment and then they cough on a table. Now this thing is going to stay on that table, and if you go there and pick it and one way or the other get it into any of your orifices, your mouth, your nose, maybe pick your nose, all those things. So washing your hand from time to time can help against this, can help prevent this bacteria. Another way to prevent it is please avoid staying in overcrowded places. Yes, I know that we've called off curfews, we've called off the federal government has called off the curfew from COVID, like all the curfews that we used to have of not overcrowding a place and all that. But for your own sake, for you and I, try as much as possible. It totally might not be able to eliminate it, but try as much as possible to stay away from overcrowded places. For those living in overcrowded places and they can't do without it, just try as much as possible to get as much fresh air into your house as much as possible. And like I stated, disinfect your surfaces, wash your hands at all times, because it might just be normal cough. You might think it's normal cough and then it becomes diphtheria. Because your neighbor A survived it doesn't mean you would survive it, okay? And that's why I'm here to tell you that you can prevent this bacteria from infecting you or infecting your family or infecting your kids. Now, the reason why I'm even talking mostly about this is because school has resumed. A lot of children are going to school now, and you know how children go to school and pick things. And when I say pick things, I don't mean physical things. They pick bacteria from here, pick this from here, because they play amongst themselves. So as much as possible, try anything to boost your child's immune system by providing enough vitamins in food for the child. For your child, provide enough vitamins in food, give the child enough fruits, just to build their immune system against any form of bacteria that they might go and pick from school, okay? Because a child might have it, and because the parents are not aware, they've not seen my video, they don't know that it could be this diphtheria, they would think it's just cough, okay? They would think it's just cough. Now, treatment of this bacteria, diphtheria, it's not like it's a virus, okay? So, as like you stated, it's a bacteria. Majority or mostly the treatment for this condition is antibiotics, appropriate antibiotics. I wouldn't mention the name or class of antibiotics that is being used to treat it. Please go to your healthcare provider, okay? Because I'm pretty sure if I should mention a name or a class of antibiotics, some people will just go ahead, say, oh, they not said you can take this, and they'll go and buy it over the counter, because in Nigeria, our antibiotic usage is not regulated. So please go to your healthcare provider if you're suspecting, or I would like to expect that whenever you even feel sick, you go to the appropriate persons and not just self-medicate. I'm totally against self-medication, okay? So go to your healthcare provider if you suspect that anything like that could be wrong. Even if it is not eventually, but at least be sure. Go and be 100% sure. The early detection is better than now having to treat at a late stage, okay? I do hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. I hope that you learned one or two things. And I hope that if this is your first video you're seeing of me, you enjoyed it and you would like to join my family. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share to your friends, share to your mom, your dad, share to everybody. If your parents are old or frail, please share to them, because they are most of our old parents their immune system is compromised. Like it's not as if it's compromised, it's just suppressed because they're getting older. Like I stated, the older you get, the more suppressed it is. So share this video to them, let them keep washing their hands, let them keep staying away from once they see somebody cough, it's not as if you start running from the person, but at least try as much as possible to avoid environments like that. Keep surfaces clean, wash your hand. And yeah, also for those that might not know, I'm a nurse, right? So I'm not just giving you an information from the dustbin. I do hope you understand that. So I'm a registered nurse, I'm a registered midwife, and I'm a registered public health practitioner here in Nigeria. So when I give you this information, I know what I'm talking about. I hope that we can all stay safe out there. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.